Hi, hey Russ here. Welcome back to my shop. Today I want to talk about something kind of strange that nobody seems to really think about in their workshops, especially small workshops. Some of the most valuable space you got is your floor space. And then after that, it's the wall space. And that's a finite amount of space, quite frankly. I'm already running out of room both on my floor space and on my wall space around my shop. It just seems to all get filled in. But there's another place that you have space too that most people don't take advantage of, and that's your ceiling. Now, when you do work with your ceiling space, you do have to follow some strict rules, because one of the things you have to pay attention to is the amount of weight you're hanging. You don't want to overload your ceiling or your rafters, or you may have some serious problems. So you have to know what you're doing if you're going to use it. If you don't, get somebody to help you figure out how to do it. But most of the things that I do in my shop really are less than 60 pounds per rafter that I add to that. A good example is my workstation that I'm working on right here. It has a shop vac system in there, has a big fan blower system for sucking up the fine dust and filtering it. I have that on there, and I have a couple other things. That cubicle is hanging from the ceiling right over my legacy mill, and it's actually becoming very handy in multitasking, doing a lot of different things for me. But it only takes up, the whole thing only weighs about 120 pounds in all. The lumber to build it and everything. I made sure that I kept it as light as I could. And as a result, it's only got about 60 pounds extra hanging on those rafters. I think they'll probably be able to hold that extra weight without any problem. And it doesn't have to be static like that either. That doesn't move. That just sits there. I also have this. And this is just a track system. And I have a dolly right here. I used to have my TV on here when I had my widescreen TV, but I had to give that to my son. One of his TVs blew up and he was desperate to get one, so I gave it to him. So I'm down to one TV. I know it's kind of rough, but I'm getting by for now. So I turned this into my tool board. And I know you've seen the guys that have the tool boards that hanging on the wall and they stand, it's right behind them and everything. Trouble is that that's static. I can take this thing and roll it from the back of the shop to the front of the shop, or anywhere in between that I want, to use the hand tools that I use the most. I have my paper towels and different things on there, so it's a handy rack, and it moves. So you can make your ceiling space dynamic too, roll around just like a cart on the floor. And that's pretty handy, so I really like it. And that's something else that you can put on your ceiling if you want. Just make sure how many tools you're putting on that. Pay attention to what you have there. Don't overload it. So at this point, this is kind of what I do with my ceiling. I've been adding some different things to it. There's several other things that I'm thinking about doing. And let me give you a couple of examples here real quick. For example, right there, that is my drum sander, oscillating drum belt sander from Ridgid. I'm sure you've seen it. A lot of woodworkers had that. But the thing about that is that it's very light. So what I'm thinking about doing is mounting that on the ceiling on an arm that swings up and comes down when I need it. And then I can swing it up all the way when I don't need it, because it doesn't have a lot of weight there. And then I can take and have that shop space, the floor space, back from my shop to do something else with, to give me more floor space. So you can take things and still put lots of other things on your ceiling that you probably hadn't even thought about. Trash cans. I know this sounds bizarre, but actually I have 3 trash cans in my shop, and they all sit on the floor. Big 55-gallon trash cans, 40-gallon tank cans, wherever they are. But they do take up floor space. So I've been thinking about making my own containers and having them on their side so that they're not as tall but bigger in the perimeter, and have it set overhead where I can drop and put the trash in it up above. And then when I'm ready, I can take the trash can down out of its bracket, dump it, and put it back up there. Trash cans don't have to be on the floor, and they don't hold all that much weight. Even when they get heavy, I can always never heavier than what I can pick up. So trash cans are actually a pretty good candidate to put on your ceiling instead of on your floor. As crazy as that sounds, it's nice to pick up floor space anywhere you can. And when you get to that point where you wish you had more floor space, give it some thought. Think outside the box. But can I hang on the ceiling and get it off the floor so I have more floor space? Give it a try. You may already have done it. If you have, please leave comments about it. If you have any ideas or suggestions, you should leave those in comments below. If you like this video, please say so. Most importantly, though, please come back again because we're nowhere near done. Thanks, and have a terrific day.